Why is it so important for people to have the capacity to forgive themselves for their mistakes?
Because if they do, they're not going to hold on to the trauma that they've experienced in their life and drag that into their future.
One of the best tennis players in the world is a lady from, I think, Romania named Simona Halep. Has won a couple Grand Slams. But before she was able to get there, she was in a tournament in Miami, and her coach, Darren Cahill, actually after that tournament quit on her, which is crazy.
Who does that,
Yeah,
right?
players fire coaches. Coaches don't fire players.
Right.
And the reason he did that was because he felt like she was just not working on her mental strength. She would beat herself up over everything, and it got to the point where he felt like there was nothing more he could do for her, and he walked away. And it was kind of the best thing that could have happened to her, because after he did that, she realized, wow, I really, really need to work on this. And she did. He returned to become her coach, and within a year, she won her first Grand Slam at the French Open. So she learned to move on beyond her mistakes. So again, why is, you had mentioned about traumas, but why, in a very practical sense, do you think it's important that we not beat ourselves up when things go wrong?
Well, because if something happens, then we revert back to that self-talk, the talk that we've been giving ourselves.
Right.
We're not good enough. How could you do that? You're so stupid. What's wrong with you? I mean, all of these negative thoughts.
Right.
There's no reason she lost these tournaments and blew up at the end.
Right.
You got to clear house, right? We got to be easier on ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're not machines. We're human beings.
Right.
We're human beings. And we all make mistakes.
Right.
And it's okay to make a mistake.
Right.
It's okay. It could be actually a really good thing to make a mistake.
Right.
And you argue that what happened with the Simona was how it all unfolded was the best thing that ever happened to her. Have her coach fire her, right? So that she woke up to go, oh man, okay, maybe he's right. Yeah. And then she started working on herself. So she didn't start working on herself as a tennis player. She started working on herself as a human being.
I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be my next point, is she won the French Open, but more importantly, she started to learn to be kind to herself in all aspects of life, right? Because it goes beyond just those few hours you're on the court or wherever you're at wherever your place of work might be. So I think a lot of people struggle with this, though. They remember a mistake they made, and they just can't let go of it, and they just keep replaying it over and over, and it propels them in a negative direction and disallows them from propelling forward into life. They're still stuck in this past.
And when you can release it, think of a cup of water, that you continue to pour water into it, and it's flowing over. So if you continue to put negativity in your mind, you continue to rehash the past, replay the tapes in our past, in our memory banks of things that we did wrong, you're going to get water all over the place. You're going to flood the room. But if you clear it out, you release yourself from that experience, right? Release yourself from the blame of that experience. Then you create space. So to become empowered, you release it, create space in the cup for new fresh water and new experiences to have.
Right. And you're a quarterback, and there's no probably profession on earth more important than a quarterback to be able to release them. You throw an interception, you can't go back out there the next series and worry about that interception, because guess what? You're probably going to throw another one.
And for those people in sports, especially quarterback, you tend to focus on, in other sports, you tend to focus on what you didn't do right.
Right.
You're in the film room, you go back, you rewind it. I'm like, enough. Okay, I got it.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you don't really talk about as much of the good things, but you talk about a lot about the things you didn't do. So that creates this negativity, that creates this desire to be a perfectionist.
Right.
And you know, a lot of us have those qualities within us. I do as well. And so if you just continue to live like that, it reinforces it, you know, hey, I wasn't perfect. Shame on me. No, we did your best. You did your best. What can you learn from this? Okay, learn from that experience. Right. Move forward. Let's get better the next time. Right. And just breathe through it. Let it go. Create space. But don't be attached to a future outcome either.
Yeah. And in the micro, when we talk about these athletes who learn to work through their mistakes, they perform better. Right. In the macro, if you can't let go of your mistakes and your hurts and all the things that have gone wrong and that you've done, and you constantly beat yourself up, you're not going to be a happy person. Multiply that out across, you know, the entire, you know, planet, and you've got an unhappy planet. Yes. So we as human beings, if we want to give back to our community, to the world, the best way to give back is to give back to ourselves, to start with number one, right?
And when you give back to yourselves, you can give to others.
Right.
So when you forgive yourself for past errors, right, mistakes, you're more likely going to be able to forgive others, right, for past mistakes they had directed in your direction.
Because how are you going to forgive somebody else if you can't even forgive yourself?
You're not.
Right.
You're not. And there lies the issue. So we always have to start with moi and work on yourself. You can't love another if you don't love yourself. Right. It's the same concept, right? So forgive yourself, let go of the past traumas, just let them go, okay? And there are a lot of ways to do that, you know, meditation and prayer and other things, and just resign yourself to the fact that we're not perfect. Right. We're not a perfect species. We're just not, and we make mistakes all the time. Be mindful of them. Let them go, move on, stay present. That's where the whole present moment thing is. We're right here, right now, talking. Right. I'm not thinking about what's going to happen in the next moment. I'm not thinking about what happened a moment before. Right here, right now. And that's where we should all be.
Yeah, I played high school basketball with a dude who was like that. He was the best guy at being present. When he played, he was in the zone. I never saw a guy in my entire life. I'm sure that you played with higher caliber athletes than I did, so you probably did, but I never saw a guy in my life who could be in the zone for such a prolonged period of time. When he was on the court, especially, and he didn't play defense, so I guess it was half the time now that I think about it, but on the offensive end of the floor, this dude, he was such a pure shooter, but mostly because he was just there. Yeah. He wasn't wandering off mentally thinking about his mistakes or where he was going. He was just there, and he played flawlessly sometimes.
And that's where life is. Life is right here, right now, in the present moment, right? Because we all have a little bit of self-talk going on that's negative. Right. We do. And what we need to do is just recognize it, love it, place it over here, right, and move on. Right.
Yeah, and we have a hard time with that because you start thinking about all the things that you can't do, and then your whole life becomes about can't do instead of what you can do. And it starts with, again, remembering that any mistake you made is something that you can overcome. Yeah. You know.
Focus on the good.
Focus on the good.
Focus on the good. Focus on, have gratitude on what you have in your life. Focus on the good things that you do. And learn from the negative, but let it go. Yeah. Let it go. It's in the letting go that we receive.
It's in the letting go that we receive. That's a Paul. That, folks, is a Paulism right there.
Boom. Boom.
All right, that's a good way to end it. Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
This is the part where we're supposed to tell people to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Okay, will you please do that then? I mean, if you enjoy it,
yeah,
please do.
And if you don't, do it anyways, because we need your help.
Yeah, we do.
Also, we have a website called GameChangeNation.com. Just go there and subscribe and you'll get tons of free content.
And what we're really trying to do is create a community of people that love sports.
Yep.
And the great lessons that we learn from sports, but we want to hear from you.
We do. So we're going to have a bunch of social media pages from TikTok to Instagram to Twitter to Facebook. Instagram, I probably already said all of them. Please join them and tell us your stories. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, and we wrote a book.
Oh.
Forgot about that.
Forgot that.
The book is called Thru the Tunnel. It's available on Amazon now. If you go straight down here to this link that you can see below us, you will be able to purchase it. We'd love it if you could do it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.